Hey y'all, my name's Jen. I'm a health and life coach on a mission to empower women, and this season I call the messy middle. We believe it's never too late to dream your wildest dreams and to build lives freed from the shoulds and have-tos. Here, we talk to ourselves like we do our girlfriends and our sisters and daughters. I will share stories and resources with lots of encouragement and a little bit of tough love to drive you toward action. In this podcast, we talk about everything: career, relationships, motherhood, and health. So grab your sneakers and let's go, because she's wild and freed. Hey y'all. Welcome to another episode of She's Wild and Freed. I'm your host, Jen, and very excited to be with you today and to jump into an episode that I wasn't planning on recording, but as I was just reflecting and working through some things, this one just spoke to me, this topic. So here we go. Is anyone else feeling like rebelling against this idea that we have to be our best selves right out of the gate in 2024? Like, why do we have to totally revamp our whole lives when we literally just experience this most wonderful time of the year? We get ourselves just hyped up. We have to be our best selves or be even better at something. We buy all the stuff. We get organized. We join the gym. I mean, at least that's the story that we're seeing online. And to be frank, or to be honest, I have certainly been there in years past. But I just want to say, forget that. I don't want to jump right into a new year with all this hype and almost like the stress of it all just to be better and faster or living my best life in a way that maybe isn't so authentic to me. So I usually work the last week of the year. It's very quiet. Most people are taking that last week or two off for the holidays and just going into the new year. So I take that time to really get some things done and get organized. But also, not only are we coming off the holidays, I'm working, but the kids are home, we're off schedule, we're eating things we wouldn't normally, drinking things, and I'm just not ready to totally make everything, quote unquote, better. My eating better, my exercising better, my sleeping, my meditating. I need to journal, whatever the thing is. I called this podcast She's Wild and Freed. And even though I tend to sound calm and reserved when I'm speaking into the microphone, what I really want for us is to embrace our wild, rebel against the norms and those pesky shoulds and have-tos. I don't want us to settle for what always has been or what's expected of us. We don't have to set a New Year's resolution on January 1st. Or really, we can set our intention or our goals anytime we want. So I say to hell with it. I'm not setting anything in the new year because we are wild and free. And this actually makes me think of Cartman from the show South Park. So if you know, you know, where he says in so many words, we can do anything we want. I'm just tired of the narrative. We should be setting our goals, starting the new year right out the gate. And on January 2nd, we have to work out 5 days a week. We have to meditate, as I said before, journal, get in your sleep, get in your water, eat right, make your bed. And I know it sounds funny because I'm the health coach. That's what we normally would be saying to clients, or maybe that's what it seems like we should be saying, or the expectations. But don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be overextended anymore. I don't want to put pressure on myself to do all the things, to be perfect, to not show my weaknesses or to not mess up. I want life to be a little messy, and I want to allow things in my life to flow with ease. That doesn't mean I won't be setting goals this year. I do plan to grow in a lot of areas in my life and in my business. But this pressure of setting the New Year resolution and sticking to it right out of the gate, it's not for me this year. So who's with me? I mentioned on a previous episode that my word of the year is ease. And I kind of laugh at that because, well, for two reasons. One, if you know me, I tend to make everything complicated. I add extra steps on whatever I'm working on. I don't use the right tools, or I don't use them in the right way. I'm not exactly sure why I do this, but my first thought is that I just think if you work hard for it, then it's worth it. And I fully know that it's not always the case. I mean, hard work is one of my values for sure, but it doesn't mean everything has to be so hard and complicated. And two, I keep hearing other people say this word too, ease. And they want their work, their lives, relationships to have more ease in it or be easier. And I swear I didn't know others would say this thing, but maybe it's because life and work have been really hard for me lately, stressful, complicated, really over the last few years. For me, I have just been pressing on, striving harder and farther without realizing the hustle has pushed me almost too far. And I just realized that it doesn't have to be this hard. I don't know if that resonates with any of you, but why do we put so much pressure and force ourselves so far? Also, secretly, I have a second word of the year. Well, I guess not so secretly because I'm about to share it on this podcast, but here I go again. I'm rebelling against the have a word of the year because, I mean, who actually says you have to only have one word? I don't even know where that came from, but I've been trying it for the last few years. So 2022, my word was intention or be intentional. 2023 was optimize. I wanted to optimize my time with whatever it was I was doing, which is maybe what's gotten me to this point of just like, whoa, I've been doing too much. And then 2024, my words are ease and flow. And I've been writing down these words a lot in my journal as I go through just processing the last few months. Flow and ease. I just want things to flow with ease in my business, in my life, in my relationships. When I work on a certain project, when I approach a certain situation in life, I plan to ask the question, how can this be easy? And I'm not naive to the fact that life is hard and things can get complicated, even if I don't make them that way. But I also realized last week I have been living and experiencing life as a high functioning anxious person. I've always been a worrier. I worry about some of the strangest things. So to combat my worries or fears, I just do. I take actions, I move, I redirect my worries and fears. I talk to myself and remind myself that worrying won't do anything in the situation. I wonder if anyone else can relate to that. Don't feel, because if I feel, I will worry. And if I worry, I'll be afraid. And if I'm afraid, I will freeze. So I just keep moving, just keep doing, just keep adding things to the list. I definitely knew I tended to lean more toward being anxious about things. Like I said, I've been a worrier for a long, long time. When I started therapy, I was experiencing symptoms of perimenopause, symptoms I didn't even know were part of the quote unquote natural process, which I know it's natural and I should embrace it because it's supposed to be liberating and I'm entering this next phase of womanhood. But frankly, it sucks. I was quick to anger. And to be honest, I don't get angry that quick, or at least it takes me a while to get angry about things, or takes me a bit. And then I started having hot flashes. And when one would come on, I would immediately think, why am I feeling anxious all of a sudden? What's going on? And then I'd realize I just have to let this thing pass. But it would almost feel like I was about to have a panic attack. And these things, if you know, as I'm saying again, but they just come out of the blue, just sitting at my desk, just sitting on the couch, eating dinner. And it was so annoying. So my therapist taught me some techniques that helped me with when these hot flashes would come on. And ultimately, the only thing I could do was just let it pass. But honestly, breathing techniques have been the best thing for me over the last year, and guided meditations. When I get in a place where I'm able to calm my nervous system and calm that inner critic, that inner fear monger, inner worrier, then I can find my way back to me. Does anyone have a similar experience? I'm really curious. You feel like you're losing it, or you aren't who you thought you were, or something's really just off. So, full transparency with this, I went about a year with these symptoms, working with my therapist. Then I shifted to working with a nurse practitioner, trying natural things to help me in this new phase of life of perimenopause. But ultimately, I did decide to do hormone replacement therapy. Through the research, through talking with my nurse practitioner, that was the best option for me. So, as I say many times on this podcast, always consult a physician in any kind of situation. And hormone replacement therapy is not for everyone, but it's made just a huge difference in my life as I'm going through this transition. Okay, I got on a little bit of a tangent there on perimenopause, but I think it relates to shifting our paradigm that things have to be hard to be worth it. Or the only way to grow or get ahead or progress in life is to hustle. As I'm settling into middle age, the concept of asking the question, how can this be easy, is something that not only brings me a sense of peace and calm, but for me, this is the only way forward. My inner rebel, my girl who wants to be freed from the existence that comes with drama, extra steps, total revamps, or existential shifts, says no more. Because really, I'm saying yes to me, yes to my family, yes to my business and podcasts, and yes to you. And it's worth saying, This is kind of scary for me. Instead of committing to crushing my goals and up-leveling, I'm asking myself, how can this be easy? So I'll check back with you guys on this podcast maybe mid-year to let you know how this is going. Because this really is a come with me type podcast. I want you to know I'm in this with you. I haven't got it all figured out. And, even though I coach clients and we work on things together, it's all a process. It's a learning experience, this life that we're living. So do any of you have a word or words of 2024? Are you committing to something different or something wild this year? I want to hear from you. I know in this platform, it's just me talking in a microphone, but truly, I do feel like we're in this together and I want to hear from you. So either message me on social media or send me an email. I want to know what you're thinking. Do you think you want to rebel against this idea that everything has to start right now in January? Do you want to embrace something wild that you've pushed aside or thought maybe wasn't possible this year? As we continue into 2024, you will get more resources from me and offerings to help you along in your own personal journey, whatever it is. Whatever or wherever the path is leading you. Let's tap into our inner rebel, accept her, embrace her, and unleash her into the world. Even if it's quietly, but you're taking steps toward a wild and freed life. Thanks for listening. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. So message me and let me know what you think of this episode. If you liked it, if you were nodding your head along with me as I was talking, I would so appreciate if you share this with a girlfriend or with your sister. Just text it to her or share it on one of the platforms, either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That would be amazing. And you'd be helping me get the word out. Until next time. Stay wild. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you feel free to take action toward building the life of your dreams. If something in this episode resonated with you, I would so appreciate it if you would text it to a girlfriend so she can hear the message as well. Until next time, stay wild.